time. Is it? Okay. I think it's working. Let me refresh my LinkedIn and YouTube and make sure we're on all the platforms. Okay, I see we're on Facebook, so that's
Awesome.
good. And then I am on Instagram. For those of you that are on Instagram, welcome. Bear with me here as we are just getting our tech set up, and we are going to be going live on all of the different social media platforms. As is the case from the past couple of weeks, I have Alex, our Director of Enrollment, on with me, and we're going to be talking about something slightly different today. So we're going to go deep on what it really takes to actually break into investment banking. Okay, and Alex has obviously, spoken to a ton of students over the last year or so with our company, and I've spoken to a ton of students over the last 3 to 4 years, and we've seen a lot of really, really successful students have come through our program, and we've also seen a lot of students that even if they didn't go through our program, just like we kind of like keep track of the people that we talk to on LinkedIn, and we're already connected with them, and so we kind of see like what ended up happening with their recruiting process, right? So we're going to talk about all that. I see we're live on LinkedIn. It's great. And I think we're good. I think we get started. So anyway, so we're going to talk about all that. And then we're also going to talk about like some of the, most common questions that people have about investment banking recruiting, about our program, about anything in general. Like if you guys have questions too, like feel free to drop them in the comments and we'll try to answer as many of them as we can. But to start off though, what I want to say is, not to like kind of ruin the surprise, but what I've learned over time is that a lot of the beliefs that people have out there about what it takes to get into investment banking is actually just wrong. People like it's out there. Oops. Let me turn on the volume. It's just wrong. Like there's a lot of bad information out there where people have been told that you need to be certain things if you want to get into investment banking. Like you need to be, an Ivy League school student. You need to be, have a 4.0 GPA, right? You need to have a perfect resume with, a bunch of investment banking internships on it already. You need to, be a finance major, like whatever, right? You need to be super connected on Wall Street and, have a bunch of, really rich and powerful friends or family friends or whatever. Just, I'm not saying that none of those things matter. And I'm not saying that they don't help. In fact, if you have any of those things, that's great. It's going to make your time recruiting a lot easier. But if we're being completely honest, the vast majority of the students out there don't have either some of those things or don't have any of those things, right? And so it's like, what do you do when you're kind of in that type of situation? Like, do you just give up because you say it's too hard? Resume with a bunch of investment banking internships. Give me 1 second. What do you do when you're kind of in that type of situation? Do you just give up because you say it's too hard? Resume with,
a little feedback there, huh?
Yeah.
I want to also add in there while you're doing that, a couple other things that I want to throw out there because it's a reality and I deal with it every day, is that even just having like limited beliefs and or not having all the finances in the world, right? Or not having family support, parent support. I've enrolled so many kids that did not have parent support.
Right.
Did that stop them? No. Did they get top offers? Yes. Didn't have family financial support. Family support, but not family financial support. And they had to figure out how, and of course they've talked with me and I was able to financially work something out right? But again, those are, that's very common. Not everybody has parents that know what investment banking is or know what finance, getting into finances. And so a lot of students that I talk to have to like educate their parents.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think, and we're going to touch on that too. Right. I think like one thing I want to show people, because really like part of what we're trying to do here too is like, look, regardless of whether you end up working with us or not, like if even just one person watches this live stream today and they walk away feeling more motivated or more confident in their own chances of breaking into investment banking, then this would have been worth it. Like we're making a difference, right? So like on our website, if you go to our website and you go to like the testimonial section and you go to student interviews, okay, or like the URL here is wallstreetmastermind.com student interviews main page. What you'll see is like, first of all, I have a video here. This video is honestly, I don't know, it's not funny, but it's like, I'm sure this happens all the time. Like if you guys go watch this video yourself, I'm not going to play it right now, but this is one of our clients. We like blurred out his face for like privacy reasons, but like, because he's talking about basically how like even his own family doubted him. Even his own sister, who's working in investment banking already, told him that, yeah, you know what, you're probably not going to make it, right? Like, and so sometimes even like the people that are closest to you, they wish nothing but the best for you. Like they themselves have limiting beliefs around what's possible, right? And these are people that have your best interest in mind. Sometimes they even should be very knowledgeable about what it takes to break in, because like she was already in banking. And even then, he didn't accept that, right? He didn't just take a word like, okay, well, you know what, then I just give up, right? Instead, he went out and got the help that he needed. And then he ended up getting offers from both Bank of America and from Wells Fargo, right? Which are two very, very good banks, especially Bank of America, which is both back bank, right? And so we just put that there to show you guys that, look, even if people tell you that you can't do this, you don't necessarily want to just like take their word for it. You need to have like a bit more belief in yourself. And then like whatever stories that you're telling yourself about why you cannot break in or why you might not be able to break in, we've provided so many different categories, like all the limiting beliefs and stories that we've heard people tell us over the last 3 to 4 years. A lot of those students kind of, despite having those beliefs, they turned it around. They came into our program, they got help, and then we worked with them, and then they became these success stories, right? So it's like maybe you go to a non-target school or a semi-target school, or even you go to a target school. Sometimes, like, believe it or not, even target school students, they have their own issues that they're worried about too. For example, when you go to a target school, everyone at your school is like super on top of it, super competitive. Everyone's got a 4.0, super stacked resume. It's just like, it's easy to feel like you're not at that level, right? And it's just like, it's way more of a pressure cooker environment. But so you might think like, oh, target school students have it so good. It's like, no, everyone's got their own issues, right? Whatever GPA you have, like whatever year you are in school, maybe you're a transfer student. Like we have students from like community college that transfer into a 4-year school. Maybe you're an international student, you need sponsorship. Maybe you have no finance experience on your resume. Like all of these things are not reasons why that you shouldn't be able to get into investment banking, right? Because we've helped people just like you break in. Like even like Alex, you mentioned earlier, like people that don't have financial resources. Like we have, students that are underprivileged. We have 2 case studies here that are so, in my mind, like kind of crazy or absurd. It's like we have 2 students that used to be homeless at one point when they were kids. Right? And now they're working in investment banking, or they're going to be working in investment banking, making 6 figures, anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 a year right out of school. And it's like, that's life-changing, right? But the reason why they're there is because they didn't buy into all the BS. They didn't buy into the self-limiting beliefs that other people try to impose on them. And they didn't accept no for an answer. They just viewed it as like, hey,
it's like the college, it's like the undergrad and grad story of Pursuit of Happiness. Obviously, that's a real story by Will Smith, or Will Smith plays it, but that's a real story that from an adult. But this is we've seen the real story from a college, from undergrad and grad side. It exists.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just, I'm not saying getting to investment banking is easy, but I am saying, like, it's also not as hard as people would like to make it out to be, right? Like, a lot of times it's like people that have already gotten into banking and then, like, you know, they like to talk up how hard it is because they're in this exclusive club, right? Um, and so, like, you can't believe everything you read out there. And I just think that there's always going to be obstacles in front of you, but it's like your mentality and your attitude towards those obstacles, that's what really determines how successful you're going to be.
Yeah, but I gotta also say, you're thinking that as somebody now that has created a program, a repeatable program, and coaches every single day. So you're coming from a point of view, a perspective of something that has worked over and over and over. So you're viewing it this way. So, but I gotta inform you though that, Sam, that yes, that is correct, because you're inside of your program and you're pumping out, you know, awesome results. But outside of the program of WSMM, it's a whole world of a lot of issues and a lot of hurt, because each time that a student or a person pursues things and they're not successful, or they fail, or they get a rejection, that hits them hard, right? And if they don't have, even if they have family support, great. If family support doesn't know how to handle it, okay. It's nice to have mom and dad saying, hey, go and do it. But they can't really support in the way that like our program does, like when I see you communicate. So outside of the WSMM bubble, dude, you gotta, I mean, you know where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah.
Having that type of support mentally is a game changer. When you don't have it and you get rejected, I mean, it's a house of cards. It folds in on them. So it's difficult in reality. In our program, it's different. It's a different world because of your support.
I think you're right. I think I maybe I am taking it a bit too much for granted in terms of what it takes to get into investment banking. But like, honestly, that is a difference in terms of like environment, right? Like if you're just in the normal environment, like if you're just online, you're on WSO, whatever, where like the vast majority of people that are on those forums are trying to get in, but don't end up getting in, it becomes this echo chamber around like how hard it is. And, you know, what are all the reasons why people didn't get in versus like me, I spent all my time inside of Wall Street Mastermind, and we just keep seeing like all these different success stories. And it's a totally different atmosphere. It's a totally different environment where like we expect everyone who comes in the program to get in, right? And honestly, like if we know that someone just like has no shot at getting in, even with our help, like we don't even let them into our program. That's the other thing, right? Like because we can't offer a money back guarantee and just like let every Joe Schmo in, and we'll just be doing a lot of, you know, pro bono work, and that we're not a nonprofit, right? I think like somewhat related to this though, like, so Brajesh on Instagram asked, actually, Alex, this would be a good question for you to chime in on as well. And I have my thoughts, but he said, I understand that you guys are the real deal, but what is it that makes y'all different and get this higher success rate so high, right? And so like,
what's the secret sauce?
Basically, I mean, because like, look, like we're super transparent, right? Like even on our website, like we're one of the only companies that publish like detailed data around like our success rates, and then we break it down in like all these different ways to like slice and dice the data, right? And so like over the last, you know, over the last 3 recruiting classes, going back to 2020, including through COVID time, like we've been at consistently around 90% plus or minus, right? Like COVID took a little bit of a dip because there were a lot fewer jobs out there and banks kind of really tightened the belt. But even then we had 89%, right? Yeah. And then like, if you just look at the results, like that's with 35% of our students coming from non-target schools, right? It's not like we only, we were approached by another company the other day that wanted to kind of outsource some of their clients to us. And the thing is like, they only work with students from Ivy League schools and like a couple of, you know, top public schools, right? Like they're only working with those students because those students they think that those students are easy to break in. Like for us, it's not the case. We do work with target school students. 45% of our students are from target schools, but that means 55% of them are not, right? And we're still getting these types of results, right? And the vast majority of our clients get into either a bulge bracket or elite boutique bank, or they get to straight to the buy side, which is what a lot of people want to do after banking. They sometimes skip banking and go straight to the buy side. And another 1/3 of our clients get into a middle market bank, which we consider to be like anything that's in the top 50, right? Still highly reputable, very, very good results. And then like a very small percentage who come to us very, very late, like they're lucky to just even break in at all. We help them get into regional boutiques, right? So like my point is, like, these are the types of results that we're getting. But coming back to this question though, what is our secret sauce? I mean, I have my thoughts, but I'm gonna let you go first, Alex. Like, what have you seen in the last year that you've been in this program? Because I'm so involved. I'm so involved that I think like as the coach, I see
you're in the bubble. Yeah, you're in the zone, dude. You're like on the football field, and you're like the coach, and you're like, calling out the and you're doing all the signs and whatnot. And I'm like outside, I can see all of it. What's the person's name again?
Well, I only have his Instagram handle, but it's Brijesh. I don't know.
Okay, so this individual, this is how I know that Sam's got all the data and everything up, and that's awesome. This is how I always answer that first. So I always do it like this. This is a program that, like, here we have a head coach, founder, creator that, worked at Morgan Stanley, recruited at Morgan Stanley. It's as if Sam were to go back and break into investment banking or start today, like go get a banking job. So he's going to do everything right? Because he knows how to do it, but because he also recruited for one of the top banks on the planet. So he's seen it, done it on both sides of the table. Okay. So I always answer it this way. Well, having a program that Sam put together, right, that coaches that, but it's as if he is going to actually go out, and if he were to go out and do it, he'd get the job. But Sam's not going to go out and do it. The clients are going to go out and do it, but they're going to do it with Sam's tutelage, 24/7 coaching on top of with our other assistant coaches from top places. So they're going to do everything right the first time, because you would do everything right the first time if you were to go back. So that's the best way, that without going through all the data, that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Sam's done it. Sam has done it with 300 plus clients, coaching them through it. So we're not figuring this thing out like for the first time. And I always say this because I can say this because I see everything. I'm the one, I look above and I see the whole football field. I see you coaching and I see everything. See you coaching. Oh, I got an echo there. Everything. Oh, I got an echo there.
Oh,
maybe it's gone. Okay, it's gone. I look at it this way. When they work with you and the coaches, because I see everything goes out, everything is done right the first time. That's game changer. The first time. You're not figuring it out. The coaches are not figuring it out. The program is not figuring it out. It's already figured it out. It was figured out years ago, right? Yeah. It's just now. So that's the best way that I can say it, like in layman's terms, I guess, like we've been there, we've done it. We continue to go there. Now, when you back up the data, it supports what I'm saying. Right. So to answer that question in a nutshell, man, it's like you have the best coaches that are going to walk you through because they've been there, they've done that. So as long as you continue to bring everything across your desk, it's going to be right the first time. Now, this is what I also say. Just because it's right the first time, right? Every time Sam touches it and the coaches touch it and it goes out right the first time, that doesn't mean, oh, you're just going to win. No, that means that you're in the best position to compete against others that are highly competitive. That just means that those clients have separated themselves from all those that are not competitive. Now that's just gone. but that now means that they're now having to compete against the other 10 out of 10s that are out there in the planet, right? And they exist. So it doesn't mean that it's just a given. Oh, now that everything's done right, they're going to win. Well, it gives them the best chances of winning, right? So that's my nutshell of what the secret sauce is. Why reinvent the wheel when the program walks you through it step by step in a comprehensive way? So it's like almost a no-brainer. And best of all is that, and again, I see successes constantly happen, right? And when there's a failure or a rejection or whatever, which is life, I'm going to be honest, the students or the clients are like, oh my God, Sam, I'm crushed. Great. Sam and the coaches go in and say, well, they ask the right questions. Okay, then just do this, 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 and this. And they do it. And it gives them the best chance. And instead of just harping on the past and the negative, to execute and actually accomplish the upcoming success. So that's part of that path that I wanted to mention.
Yeah, and I think and those are all great points, and I have some of the same ones, but I also have a slightly different take too, right? Because the question is what makes us different, right? Meaning there are a lot of other, programs out there that purport to supposedly help people break into investment banking, right? A lot of them don't really deliver, to be quite honest. But I think the biggest difference is between our program and other programs is just the amount of support that you actually get inside of our program, right? A lot of programs out there, you don't get any support. It's very much DIY. You get a bunch of pre-recorded videos and you're supposed to watch it on your own. That only goes so far, right? Where you get an entire PDF file with questions and answers and just a one-size-fits-all thing for every single person. I can tell you, out of the close to 500 students that we worked with to date, every single one of them is in a slightly different situation, right? There is no, there are some best practices that everyone follows, yes, but there is no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to something as competitive as recruiting, right? And so that's the thing is for us, it's white glove treatment for all of our students. It's not just this it's not just this hey, everyone do the same things and we don't ever talk to you. We talk to some of our clients daily, right? We're constantly answering questions around whatever situation that comes up, right? Sorry, my daughter just ran into the room.
You got your daughter? I don't have my son tonight.
She really wants
Sam's the dad.
Give me 1 second. Alex, you take over real quick.
I got it, man. Go ahead and mute it out. So another thing that I wanted to say is, and listen, I've had people I've asked this question, and I know there's programs out there. Since what is the difference between our program and what's out there? Again, I haven't taken these other programs. I don't know these other programs, so I'm going off of what students that I've spoken to on calls and clients of ours. And one of the things that I've been told is that a lot of these programs that people jump on or are interested in, they'll say once you sign up, it's well, in 24 hours, they'll assign your mentor, right? You don't know who that mentor is, right? You got to do your due diligence. It's plastered on the website. You know who Sam is. You know who our assistant coaches is. The profiles are on there. There's no guessing.
I'll just say this.
Who you're going to work with.
I'll just say this, right? Sorry about that. My daughter's 2. Mom's not home right now, and she wants me to play with her. But I'll just say this: whoever you look for as a mentor, whether it's a paid program like ours or just a free mentor that you find somewhere, there's just 2 things that really matter. If it really just comes down to it, it's one, how qualified are they? How experienced are they? How much expertise do they have? How many people have they helped before do exactly what you're trying to do? That's one, right? So the reason why we're better is because, quite frankly, we just have more experience than most of the other coaches out there. We've helped more students. We have the most success stories. We have the most impressive list of banks that we place people into. And so we've seen all the different scenarios out there. That's expertise, right? The second thing though, like expertise alone is not enough, because quite frankly, there are a lot of people out there that know how to break into investment banking. Like think about all the investment makers out there. But the second thing is like, how much time are they willing to spend with you, and how invested are they going to be in your process? Right? Like, 'cause there's a lot of people that know how to break into investment banking, but they are so busy and you are not important enough to them for them to like just invest the amount of time and effort that you need them to help you get your career on track. Like I know that's really, really important to you, but quite frankly, like they don't really get anything for helping. Like, I mean, a lot of people are willing to, don't get me wrong, a lot of people are willing to have like a quick 30-minute conversation with you, right? Like a networking call, and talk to you once, talk to you twice. So I answer some very high level questions here and there without really truly getting to know you. Because like how much can you really like learn in 30 minutes with someone? Like only so much. That's very surface level. So like the difference with us is like you have someone who has the expertise, not just me, but also the rest of our coaches are highly vetted, right? And we're very invested in your outcome, because if you don't get the job, one, it looks bad on us. It's bad word of mouth. It ruins our reputation and it hurts our business, which is our livelihood. And secondly, like even now, like we're putting our money where our mouth is even more with this money back guarantee. It's like if you don't get the job, we're losing money, right?
Yeah,
so
I think
you're not gonna get anyone to really care more than that, right? Like,
yeah, you hit on something really big, and it's going to come down to this. People aren't going to invest and aren't going to put money on the table if they don't see the results, right? And the results are everything. And, you know, I've seen enough videos of students' successes, of parents talking about their children's successes. I've spoken with parents that don't have video testimonials because they just didn't want to do it for whatever their reasons are. But I've talked to them. They've texted me back. They've been very thankful. So the results are pivotal. And by that, I also say this on my calls. It's like, I know a lot of investment bankers. I don't know any investment bankers that have the ability to know how to coach and coach well, right? And I'm not talking about giving some advice in 30 minutes, right? Every now and then. I'm talking about 24/7 ongoing support that knows how to coach and coach well to get those results. You know, like I know that we have a handful of parent testimonials where the parents are very specific and they will say that they saw the results in their child. One was a daughter, one was a son. And then in less than 30 days, a mother saw the results of her daughter, right? That's a big difference, right? Because she saw that in this particular case, the daughter was struggling with networking and so forth, couldn't land a super day. And in less than 30 days, that changed, right? And even talking about how you support and the coaches support within the program. That's the secret sauce, right? I can't say what's going on outside of this company. I wouldn't even have time to do my research and investigate another company because I'm just so busy working here that when I hear parent testimonials like that, and even when I get text messages from parents being very, very thankful, that's the result of coaching, having the ability of being on demand and coaching 24/7. That right there is a huge game changer. That is one of the biggest differences. And then I always say this, because listen, I'm on these calls, right? So I have to deal with the front line. I deal with everything. I deal with the objections. I deal with the scams. I deal with a doubt and all this stuff. And I always say, well, then show me something. You know, whether it's a parent or a student, I said, show me something. Can you show me something right now? Let's both do a show and tell. I can show the process, the actual program. I can show past clients. I can show testimonials. I can go on and on and on and on. And I always say, well, then show me these other programs that have testimonials. I'm here to listen. I want to see what's out there. Educate me. And I will tell you, I haven't had one single parent or student show me anything, right? It's kind of like, show me the money, right? Show me the money. And I don't get any response. They're like, well, I don't, there's nothing out there. And I said, then go find something. If you don't believe it, go find it and show me. In fact, throw it in my face. I'd be excited to throw it in my face, but nobody's ever done that.
Yeah. I mean, I have a question for you about, parents in a second, but I think like, look, and I think it's timely that my daughter just ran in. So I'm a dad, right? And I think like as parents, we all understand this, which is like, we just want our children to do well, right? Hopefully do even better than we've been able to do ourselves, right? And so a lot of times as parents, and Alex, you're a dad too, you send your kid to some expensive private school.
It's a top school, yeah,
on Wall Street, right? And
yeah.
It's like, why do we do that? And why do we send our kids to expensive schools? Why do we try to send our kids into even like college now costs, 6 figures, right? Like over 4 years. I mean, depending on the school you go to, like some schools cost upwards of 70, 80K if you're talking about like the best schools, right? You want to go to an Ivy League school, it's going to cost you, $250,000 to maybe even like $300,000+. And so like, why are we willing to do that as a parent? Well, we want to give our children that competitive advantage, right? We want them to have a better life because of that. And like Wall Street Mastermind, honestly, like all the parents that enroll their kids in our program, they're just thinking about this exact same way. It's the exact same thing as like sending your kids to a top school. Like this is just another competitive advantage. Like if your kid currently goes to a non-target school or currently has a lower GPA or doesn't have enough experience or whatever, they need something to level the playing field against those students who are currently ahead of them, in front of them, right? Or even if your kid is already a rock star, they go to Harvard or Wharton or one at Stanford, a lot of our students come from those schools. Again, it's very, very competitive still. And you're still looking for a competitive advantage that your classmates don't have, right? Yep. And even then, like, even if you were confident that you can break into investment banking somewhere, who's to say that you shouldn't aim even higher and say, I'm not just trying to break in, but I want to break into the best banks and the best groups, because those have the best exit opportunities down the road. Those have the best career trajectories, right? The highest pay, right? And so it's like, there's always another level to this. And what I just always tell people, parents or students, is like, look, you can try it on your own if you want. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. We'll never sit here and tell people that Wall Street Mastermind is the only way to get into investment banking, because it's not, right? But whatever results you're going to get on your own, even if you do get in on your own, all that means is that you could have gotten into an even better outcome if you had great coaching.
Right.
That's all it means, right? And so like, why would you not want that? Right.
I mean, that's exactly what it means. Look, I mean, again, I'm in the front lines. I enroll Wharton students, NYU, UC Berkeley, Duke, Cornell, Harvard, Yale, Cambridge, Oxford, Columbia, just up the block. I enroll top schools. And the thing about that is, well, they should be able to do it on their own, right? They're going to pay almost $500,000 by the time they graduate, right? So why is it that a good amount of the kids that I do speak with that go to these top schools, why are they very open to WSMM? Why? And parents as well. It's because they're already, as you mentioned earlier, they come from people that pursue an edge, right? They want an edge. Like my parents gave me an edge. I'm giving my kid an edge. He's learned, and now he's going to give his kids an edge. So if there is an edge and they have that mentality to have another edge and even another edge and another edge, you can never have enough edges. When I hear, I'm going to be direct with this. When I hear kids say, oh, I can do it on my own, I don't need an edge, I start to go, well, was it a parent thing? Did parents not teach them? It is about an edge. It is about a connection. It is about knowing somebody. It is about being at the right place at the right time. That's an edge. It is about the best education. That's an edge. It's about the best reliable vehicle. That's an edge. So when I hear that mindset, oh, I don't need an edge, then I start to think, well, then you're not going to ever, then edges won't come your way. An edge is an opportunity, right? And when you put out there that you welcome an edge, an opportunity, the universe goes, hey, we're gonna, but when you put out there, no, universe, I don't need an edge. I don't need an opportunity. I don't need help. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to continually do everything Home Depot style. God bless Home Depot, but I'm going to do it Home Depot style and do it all myself, so that you're exactly right. And I'm going to close this comment out with this. You're right, man. And if you do get in on your own, imagine if you would have had an edge, better this, better that, 24-hour support, people helping you. Imagine what you could have gotten with that. Yeah. Imagine the banks you would have gotten from that. And then imagine what you would have set yourself up for exit opportunities in years to come.
Yeah, I think what a lot of students, and definitely parents too, what they don't realize because they haven't been in the industry, is just how big of a difference we're really talking about, right? Like the difference between you ending up at, say, Goldman Sachs versus you ending up at, I don't know, I don't want to pick on a specific bank, like say just like a top 50 bank, let's say. Got it. Okay. Still very reputable, like I said, but like the difference in terms of exit opportunities is humongous. Like if you end up at Goldman Sachs, you have the pick of the litter when it comes to buy-side jobs. When you, like a lot of people leave banking after 2 or 3 years to go to something like private equity, right? Let's just use private equity as an example. The top private equity firms, which only recruit from the top banks, and not just the top banks, but the top groups within the top banks, for example, like Goldman Sachs TMT. Like we have multiple clients that have gone to Goldman Sachs TMT. It's considered the best group on Wall Street, right? Apollo, for example, mega fund, huge private equity firm. They pay their first year associates, which means it's their third year out of school. They've done 2 years of banking. They leave banking and they go to Apollo. Their first year at Apollo, making $450,000. Okay, $450,000. Like most people don't ever make that in their entire lives, right? In a single year. I mean, that's on the high end of the range.
As adults.
No, as adults, yes. As adults. Not as like a 24-year-old, exactly. But like, right. That's on the high end of the range of like what's possible, right? If you come from a top bank in the top group. Can you break into private equity from like, you know, a top 50 bank? Yes, you can. But it's going to be at like a middle market or a lower middle market fund. And I know someone who recently started private equity. He worked at RBC, then he went to private equity. RBC, by the way, is I would say a top 30 bank, a top 25, top 30 bank. Okay. So very respectable. I would say it's on the higher end of the middle market bank, but like he got into like a lower middle market private equity firm. And he said that he ended up making even less money than he would have made had he just stayed in banking. And then after like 6 months or something, I don't know, he stayed there for less than a year. He just decided like this wasn't worth it. And then he quit and he left to go do like corporate development or something like that. But it's just like the trajectory is completely different, right? Like instead of making 450, he was making maybe 150 or 200, right? It's like, we're talking like both of them being 24-year-olds, one person is making more than double what the other person's making. Yep. So it's like when people say like, well, as long as I can get into investment banking, it's great. It's like, yes, it is great. If you do get in, it is great. I'm not like, and look, leaving banking to go to a PE job that pays you $200K a year, I'm not saying that's like a crappy outcome. There's nothing to scoff at. Okay, it's great. But like, are you just happy to be here? Or like, are you the type of person who's like, just wants the best of everything, right? You want to live up to your fullest potential, right? You don't want to just settle. You want to see like how far you can take this thing. That's
I'm going to tie into that. I'm going to tie into that with, again, being in the front line here and talking to students and talking to parents. You're talking the big picture now, right? If you're a college student and you know this big picture for your career, kudos to you if you did it on your own. Wonderful. We have the World Wide Web. There's a lot of resources out there that are able to educate college kids now, not like back when I was in college. There was no World Wide Web. We had to go to literally the library and open up. Remember, I had to go to the card file and learn things that way, or microfiche. Right. But nowadays, kids are getting smarter. But I'm going to tell you, I can count on 2, 3, 4 hands right now, students that I enrolled that they, as well as their parents, or a mix of just them and not their parents, or them and their parents, that had this trajectory in mind, right? And so it was an awesome conversation because they knew that the elements, the pieces that they needed, they already secured the school, the university, but they needed more pieces. And WSMM was one of those pieces. So to enroll in that plan made sense. And what do I see when I look at my screen? I see every conversation. I see how they have this mindset of the big picture. They're not just stuck in a bubble about the issue at hand today, right? God bless that. God bless people that are just there. But a lot of our clients see the big picture and come to the table ready to have a big conversation about exactly what you're talking about. And so when I have those conversations, and I welcome those conversations, and you know what? I even help people to have those big conversations, right? That I'll even ask, I go, do you have a bigger picture here? What do you mean, Alex? Do you have a trajectory? Like, where are you going to be in a year or 2 years? Like, well, I just want to get in. Okay, but what does that mean? Like at a bank that is a regional low end, again, if you get in, congratulations. But there are tiers here for the love, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Where are you seeing yourselves? So when I have these conversations, guess what happens? The likelihood of them enrolling is extremely high. And the likelihood of them following the program and getting top offers is extremely high. And that, coming into what you're saying, it is having that mentality. But you know what? That's why I wanted to have this call with you, because part of my job is to have this information, is to provide this education, not just for students, but for parents. Because, dude, you know this. I'm on calls all day long with parents. A lot of parents have no clue of this. A lot of parents have clues of this. So I'm here to educate as well as just agree that I know where you're coming from and we're here to help you.
Well, let's talk about the flip side a little bit, right? Because we're talking about like the types of parents and students that typically tend to come in the program and work with us. There's obviously also a lot of students and parents who, after talking to us, decide not to work with us, right? What do you see, or what are you hearing as like the most common reasons that students or parents have when they decide not to work with us? Like, what are the things that typically concern them or hold them back from making this type of investment? Like, what would you say?
The top ones are, it's too costly. We don't have the money. We can't afford it. We don't see the value in the program. All of these early objections, right? And then because I've heard this my whole life, both from my parents back in the day and me in my own life, and in this program for over a year, I'm just very honest with them. I'm like, can we have a real conversation? No BS. Yes. Okay. Well, is everything that you ever wanted, is that affordable? No. Is the college your kid going to right now, is it all affordable? No. Yet they're in the university, yet you got them a car, and the list goes on. So you have to look at this again, back to the big picture. This is something that if you want it, you got to go for it, and it's going to cost you. So that's the number one thing, is cost is too much for the value, right? They don't see the value in the program, or they're not seeing the value. Or sometimes, to be honest with you, Sam, because of money issues, let's get real here. Adults have money issues. Let's just be real here. I don't care if it's joining a health club, Equinox, there's money issues, right? That is always there, right? So the fact that they have to learn about our program, I say bring it. Call me. I'll talk to you about the program. I will show you what the value is of this program, both from our clients and my view of the value of the program. So those are some big ones. But as they start to chip away from their financial objections, their value objections, and they start to really see that they can do it, others have done it, As you said, we've had some clients that were homeless for the most part, but they made it work. It was the pursuit of happiness story. Listen, this country was built off of poor people, and they've made it happen. So we can overcome financial issues. The value one is something, listen, in a 30-minute call, let's be honest, Sam, in a 30-minute call, and don't get me wrong, I've enrolled people on a 30-minute call because they came to the table, have done their due diligence. They've put time into it. For me to provide in 30 minutes, let's cut away all the chit chat of just, hi, how's everything going? Cut that away. In 30 minutes, we have to provide value. It's hard, right? So that's why I always say, do your due diligence. Go to the website, see what's out there. See what investment banking is. Look at the percentages and the facts and the data of just investment banking in general. So when you come to that call, in 30 minutes, we actually can achieve more value together, right? And I want to say this because value is achieved in a group effort, right? It's not just my job to provide value, right? Or Sam's job to provide value. The student has to also come in and provide value. They have to provide their value. They have to show that they looked into our program and they see the value of our program. And once all those things come together, it's a very good chance of a successful person that is going to work with you.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that you make a good point, right? Like, the two biggest reasons that people don't invest in something like this, either one, they think they can't afford it, or two, they can afford it, but they don't think it's worth it, right? Now, the people that can't afford it, like, obviously everyone's financial situation is different. I'm not going to sit here and say every single person should or can afford our program. As such, is not true. We have a premium program and it's very, very good and we have to charge what we charge to provide the level of service that we provide. However, like, we do our best to just work with everyone and be flexible and come up with like creative solutions. And also, like, all of our packages are customizable, right? This is like, everyone else is like, how much is your program? It's like, I don't know. We haven't talked to you yet, but we can customize something based on what you tell us your needs are. And your needs also includes, like, from a financial standpoint, like, what is your budget? Because maybe you literally this is all you have. You want to invest in your career, but this is all you can invest. Well, let's see what we can do with that budget to still give you the best possible support for that price. It's like, I want to drive a Lamborghini, I want to drive a Ferrari, but if I can't afford it, like, maybe I can only drive a Tesla, maybe I can only drive a Honda, like, whatever, but you still need a car to get around, right? So it's like, that's the first thing, is like, we will always do our best to customize the package that makes the most sense for you. On the value point, honestly, like, I would just encourage everybody to think about it this way. This is just like anything else. It's an investment, right? Warren Buffett, greatest investor of all time, says price is what you pay, value is what you get, right? You need to be comparing the return on your investment against what you have to pay out up front, right? It's like, if you think about your investment to Wall Street Mastermind, however we customize the program for you, it's most likely going to come out to something like 1 or 2% of what you're already paying for college. Okay, like on average, that's what it is, right? And so let's just lump it into your like educational investment. Let's say you're going to increase your upfront investment in your education by 1 to 2%. Basically, essentially, there's no change. It doesn't move the needle. But on the flip side, on the other side of the equation, in terms of like the returns that you're going to get, you're going to potentially triple or quadruple your salary, your income. Like, the average college grad in the US makes $50,000 a year. If you end up in a reputable bank, you're going to make anywhere from 150 to 200K, right? And by the way, if you don't end up in investment banking after working with us, you get your money back. What did you lose? Nothing. Right? You got some free professional development from our team of coaches, and then you went out and got some other job, and you still benefited from that, right? And so it's like, from an investment standpoint, you can only win and you can't really lose, right? And it's just like, the value. Let me go to the extreme. The value is there if you understand how big the pay difference is in terms of getting in versus not, right?
let's get in. Let's go in between the lines here, because I'm going to be very real on this call, because I'm hoping that parents are watching this. I'm hoping that college kids and grads are going to show their parents this, because this is the real deal, right? I'm going to go to the extreme about when people question value with this program, and it kind of leads me to believe that's how they question value in general and in life. I've spoken with parents and students, but parents, where they don't believe the value because in their mindset, their belief system, they are thinking that none of our clients are real, right? That those video testimonials, we've paid a bunch of people. We just keep paying out these college kids. We're paying out these parents, these videos to just, and the kids that we have that open some of these calls that are our clients that are highly successful, that they're also actors, right? We're just paying them out, right? We're a company that pays people and to bring people in. This is going really far, right? When I'm communicating with those individuals, not all, but when those individuals come in the room, I'm like, there's a bigger picture going on here, right? Like, they don't believe in the program. So they're saying they don't believe in the value of the program, regardless of how many client testimonials, or they're on a call with a client or whatever, and they'll look them up or whatever, and they'll cross-reference and they'll say, oh, it connects the dots. I had a parent that says, well, what if that LinkedIn profile is not real? And it went on. And then I'm like, all right, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole, right? Of what their view of value is. That's the extreme side of stuff. But you know what? I'm saying this, Sam, because it's out there. There are people that think that way.
Yes, there are, right? And look, we live in a time where there's a lot of fake news, right? I understand why people like don't always believe everything they see. We also live in a time where, you know, there's a lot of people that can just go online and say whatever they want, right? Like there's a lot of people that claim that our program is a scam when they've never used our program, most likely because they're trying to discourage their competition from using our program, right? And so it's like, what do you believe? It's honestly the reason why we go so far out of our way to make our business as transparent as possible, to make all of our testimonials on video, or if not on audio, as much as possible, right? We provide actual screenshots of conversations that we have with our clients. Like, these are all things that, I mean, can someone go to those lengths to fake these? Like, sure, I suppose you could, but you got to understand this. Like, one, it would take so much work. And like, as someone who's trying to run a business and coach all these students, like, nobody's got time for that. And second of all, honestly, for the sheer volume of testimonials we have on a website, if we had that many paid actors, like this would already, the cat would already be out of the bag. Like, someone would have already come forward and said like, yeah, actually, like,
I got paid.
Yeah, I got paid and this is not legit. Like, you will never find anyone out there who will say that about us, because that person doesn't exist, right? And so like, look, you can call our testimonials fake if you want, but you go and compare our testimonials to all of the other companies' testimonials. Like, most companies, their testimonials, like a quote that they typed out on their website. Like, how are you supposed to verify that, right? Like, we have real students who go on video, who go on audio, and like, if you want to talk to them too, like, we have no problem like connecting you with past and current clients so that you can talk to them, ask them about their experience. You know, most likely we might even have someone who goes to the same school as you or as your kid, because we've worked with students from 100+ different schools. I've lost count. I haven't counted recently, but like, we've worked with students from like most of the schools out there at this point. So it's like, we could even like introduce you to someone that's on campus, so you know they're a real person and you can verify that everything about them is real, right? We've had students that's just like in the course of conversation with us, or maybe from like, I don't know, from our demo, or maybe like when they're talking to you, Alex, they saw you share your screen and then they saw like a certain name in our Slack channel, or maybe you talked about a really successful case study, and they just go and reach out to those students on their own.
Yeah, we've had
without even like asking us to connect them, right? Because like, oh, this person's name is this, and they go find them on LinkedIn and they just go talk to them. Like, we're not back channeling with these clients and telling them what to say. Like and then the clients just give them glowing reviews, and then like they hopped in, right? I'm thinking about Ryan from, a couple weeks ago. And so my point is like, look, we have nothing to hide. You go on our website, you look around, you look at the testimonials. If you really actually take time to listen to them and some of these client interviews, and if you like actually read some of these screenshots that we post, if you actually look at the statistics that we posted, like I think deep down in your heart if this is real or not, right?
Right. Well, here's our bubble. I'm going to share this. We're getting to the end here. So I'm going to share this. Yes, we are in a bubble. I know I mentioned this early on that you're in a bubble as a coach and I'm outside. But I'm in the bubble too, right? And what that bubble is this, is we have clients and even some very recent ones that when they text in their private Slack channel, oh my effing God, I got this. This happened. This is the greatest thing in the world. We're in a bubble where we get to experience clients that have gotten offers it's changed their world. It's changed the dynamic of who they are and their trajectory. And yes, we're always celebrating, right? We're like, oh my God, that's awesome. That's when I come in and I say, congratulations, because I have enrolled them, right? Awesome. And right, we're so excited for them that we're in this bubble. And then yet we get it. Then when we talk to people, they pull us out of that bubble and they go, oh, we have to think about people that don't think it's real because they're not in the bubble, right? So what happens is those that get it, here's what makes this, like others, an elite program. Here's what makes it an elite program and an edge. This is what makes it common with all the other elite edge programs out there, is that bubble. It's that circle of influence. In this case, the inner wolf pack. When a client is successful, everybody's like, this is awesome, right? It's big cheers because we have like a Slack channel where we do the dream team or the wins, right? People comment on that. So everybody's like, oh my God, this is awesome, right? So all those that are working their way up to that, they get to see, holy cow. And then they become that. So we're very intoxicated with the program because of the success of it. So when we do hear these outside things, oh, it's a scam, or they've got to be actors, or whatever, the list of naysayers and doubters, it does affect us because we're like, wait, what? I'm sorry. We're over here celebrating, but then, wait, what was that? You think this is not real? You think this person, first name, last name, exists on this planet, is not a real human being who just told, and you might know what I'm talking about, just told her parents, her mom, who had no idea what her job was, and she says, I'm just going to Wall Street. And they're excited. So that's our bubble, and we're excited about that. So listen, I will continue to do what I do best. And when I speak to students and parents, and they then enter into that bubble, that elite edge program, and they become successful, that's what it's all about. That's the most important thing to us. So I wanted to share that. I wanted to circle back to that being in a bubble, and we only see what's going on in our program for the most part. And you know what? That's great. I'm glad we see the successes, and the successes are being created in the program.
Yeah, I mean, look, the last thing I'll add to that too, and I know we're coming up on the time here, is again, just along the same lines of us being like the most transparent company in our space. Like most companies, like you mentioned earlier, Alex, like you don't even know who your coach is going to be, right? Like these are like anonymous people. But like if you go to our website, you can actually go to like the team page where, we actually list who our coaches are on the website, right? I mean, not just myself, but also like, we got Edgar. Sorry, my computer's being kind of slow right now. We got Edgar, we got Adele, we got Daniel, we got Mindy, we got Ruchi, right? We got John, we got David. We list their background on there. You can see like they all went to, elite schools, worked at elite firms, not just in banking, but also on the buy side. Like, you got to understand something, by the way. These coaches, like, they are making multiple six figures in their finance jobs. They do not need to associate themselves or put their name and face on a website of a company that is in the business of scamming students. Just what, to like make some extra side income? No, like they work with us because yes, we do pay them, but like they work with us because they are passionate about helping more students get on this amazing career path that they're already on. And they understand, they view us as the best platform to do that, right? Like everything about like the level of transparency we provide screams the opposite of what a scam would look like. So like if you just set aside whatever you've heard and just like think critically for yourself and evaluate the evidence that's in front of you, I think you'll come to the right conclusion. And if you can't, that's okay too.
That's doing the due diligence. That's coming to the table, bringing value first, right? Because listen, you already had your career. I mean, yeah, you're an entrepreneur and this is your company in that regard. You know, same thing with me, right? This is not about us. This is about these individuals that have made this call with us, right? Or with me. This is about their career, their future, right? Like, I don't have to do due diligence about them and how they grew up and what their parents did and all that kind of stuff. They have to come to the table doing the due diligence and providing value for themselves first. And that leads into what you're talking about. It's do your due diligence. Look up these coaches. They're out there. It's all in the public domain. Why would legitimate people put themselves in jeopardy in a scam situation or that would hinder or harm their career? Bankers, first of all, don't do that. A lot of people don't. But let's just be honest, dude. Investment bankers, they're the last one in line. In fact, not even in the line. So that's common sense. And you know what? When parents have done their due diligence, because they've told me, then they're like, let's go. Then I get enrollment questions, dude. Now we're talking about enrollment because they've passed that. So here's the thing. When students and parents, when they come to the table and they don't value themselves and they don't value due diligence and really putting themselves on the line and hearing us out now, right? Because that's what a conversation is. We're communicating, right? If they don't do that, just that, A, I'm not going to enroll them. And B, I'm not going to get into a ridiculous conversation about are they actors? I mean, it's just a waste of time, right? I have to enroll real people that are going to get real success and work in the real world, right? So I'm being a little hard right now, Sam, but you know, this is my style. I'm very direct. So if I see that you haven't done this, I've told you the story one time. I had a parent, I said, I'm sorry, we have to end the call and you need to go and do your due diligence. You need to go look all this stuff up, read these articles that you're talking about that you haven't read. And if you see between the lines, like our other parents that have enrolled, then I'm here, reach out to me. Sure enough, when they're smart, they come back and we're talking enrollment because they're like, okay, we get it. So this is what I'm gonna say to parents. I know there's some kids out there that, you know, are really needing help and really want some guidance to deal with parents. And sometimes, listen, man, parents can be scary. I think you know this, right? Parents can be scary, right? They're the decision makers. Dads are in charge and moms are, so they're scared of them. Well, listen, if you're gonna be scared of your parents, you might not be ready to be an investment banker. I'm sorry, right? You got to figure out a way to overcome these obstacles. And if your parents are the obstacles, you should figure out a way to win them over. Because if you can't win your parents over who love you, they'll sell the farm for you, they'll fail with you again and again and again because they're your parents. How the heck are you going to influence bankers that don't love you, don't really care about you, right? So the first thing starts with them, right? And I wanted to hit that home with the parents. Listen, parents out there, students out there, I'm here. Make a call, Director of Enrollment, Alex. I will deal with all of your questions. I will continue to do my job because I actually care about this. I'm actually very thankful when I see the results and I hear kids tell me, thank you, Alex, for helping me, for getting me enrolled. Because that's what I did. But I'm not coaching. And I'll tell you what, as a dad, as a human being, man, it hits me. It really affects me, and it motivates me to cut through all the weeds with the next parents and students to say, this is what we are. We're very clear. We're very transparent, as Sam says. Yeah. Do your due diligence, come to the table prepared, have value in yourself, have respect for value to learn what our value is. Let's meet together. And if it makes sense on both sides, Sam said this, listen, we don't get a 90+% success rate because I enroll everybody. Heck no, we can't do that. But if we see that it makes sense on both sides, that's a good relationship. I will enroll you. I feel comfortable that you're like our clients. You're going to hit the ground running. You're going to work hard, which just gives you the best chances along with the program to get top offers. But now let's add this. We're money back. Even with all that I just said, dude, we're a money back guarantee. If we don't do what we say we were going to do, take all your money. Head out. We're fine. We'll walk. Right? That's how confident this program is with the money back guarantee.
Yeah.
Can universities do that? I don't know. I ask parents that all the time. Can Wharton do that? No disrespect to Wharton. No disrespect to any schools. God bless all of them. They're incredible. But when you're talking about a money back, let's put our money where the mouth is. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I think we can end here on that note, guys. If you're a student and you just want to talk to us first to see if it's a good fit before you even bring your parents into this, you can go on our website. There's plenty of links to book calls with us, or you can just go to www.wallstreetmastermind.com/apply. Street is abbreviated to ST, so wallstmastermind.com/apply, and you can book a time with us. If you're a parent, you want to get on a call with Alex so that he can answer whatever questions you have. You can grill him as much as you want. Have your kid reach out to us, okay? And then we can schedule that. We're here to just serve you guys, really, and help you with one of the most important things that matters. Like at the end of the day, it's like I always tell people, it's like good health is the most important. After that, it's like your relationships with your loved ones, and then it's like your career. Those are like the big three, right? Like we're here to help you with your career, and if you get those three things to a good place, you're gonna live a great life. Like it's gonna be a great, very, very fulfilling life that you have ahead of you, right? And that's what we're all after. So reach out to us.
I'll help enroll. And you know this, Sam, and we have clients that have admitted this and jokingly and had fun. Listen, if you got tough parents, bring them. I'm a tough parent, but I'm also tough about this program, right? Nobody gets through me. Nobody gets enrolled without me, right? I'm tough as well. I'm tough because I care. I'm direct. So if you've got tough parents and you're scared or whatever, do what you can. Get them on a call with me. I will do my job. Yep. And if it makes sense on both sides, man, I'm happy to see you guys on the other side.
Yep.
Cool?
Cool. All right, man. It's good talking to you as always, Alex.
As always.
I'm sure we'll do another one of these soon. And have a good night, man.
All right, everybody. Awesome. Nice to hope everybody here takes advantage of this. I hope to hear from you guys on the calls, and let's get you into investment banking.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Bye.